Over the weekend, thousands fled to the streets to demand protections on reproductive rights to mark the 50th anniversary of Roe v. Wade, which we all remember was overturned by the Supreme Court last summer. So, New York Times reported that the events, which were expected to draw thousands of people from Honolulu to Hartford, make up the latest iteration of the Women's March, the protest series that began in 2017 in the wake of the election of President Donald J. Trump. So the Women's March also tweeted out some pictures of the protests. They tweeted, "We're fired up and ready to march for our rights because this fight is bigger than Roe. They thought that we would stay home and that this would end with Roe. They were wrong. We're putting every politician on blast. If you come for our rights, we'll come for you, period." So in the wake of the Dobbs decision and overturning Roe v. Wade, I want to show you all a couple of maps of what abortion looks like in the United States now. So here's one that shows states that have expanded access in blue, protected yellow, not protected orange, hostile is red, and then illegal is the darker red color. But if we break it down even more, we can show you the states where abortion access is either not protected, has hostile laws, or is straight up illegal. So here is that map. And honestly, it's so much bigger than I would like it to be, which is very concerning. And of course, there are still states which are trying to prosecute women very harshly for accessing abortion care. I have a headline here from Arkansas: "Abortion equals murder under a proposed Arkansas law." So people who receive abortions would be treated the same as people who kill a human being who's already been born. I mean, this is so, as a woman, of course, I feel very strongly about this, as a person who has had an abortion, but also as a person who lives in a state where my access to abortion is protected. It's part of our state constitution. I'm in a position where I don't necessarily have to fear for myself, but knowing what I've been through, I mean, it's just so concerning to me what these women who live in these states, or these people who live in these states where it is legal or restricted, are gonna have to go through, the hoops they'll have to jump through to just get something that was available to them like half a year ago. Dan, I got some more, but first I wanna get you in on this.
Yeah, it's really just echoing a lot of what you said here. It's so unfortunate that, the way our system works, we have this piecemeal process where state by state, you get the implementation of certain laws, or what I find is even more ridiculous, the restriction of freedoms and rights. Like there's the cannabis space, for example, where because of the state by state overall legalization, you're getting something that's positive, and you're even starting to see things with other forms of like medicine, like medicinal therapies rather, right? But then when you get this restriction of rights when it comes to abortion access, it is really sickening because when you look at the map that you were just showing over there, a lot of it, that's a lot of the country. And what I see there are places where, it's increasingly more difficult to get to those states and afford to live in those states where the laws are more equitable. And so that's what I worry about, is that ultimately these laws are going to hurt most, as many things often do in this country, people who are poorest, the people who have the least access to try to circumvent them or try to go to other places where abortion access is legal. And this is something that we have to continue to, especially on what should have been the anniversary of Roe v. Wade. We need to keep this on the forefront, keep fighting for.
Yeah, and I just want to touch on that for a second, because even in the cases where the women or the people are able to travel to another state to get abortions, to have abortions, there are still states that are limiting their ability to do that. There's states that are trying to make it illegal to assist these people in traveling to those states and getting abortions. They're trying to make laws so that the doctors who provide the abortions in states where it's completely legal could be held criminally responsible in the state where it's outlawed. I mean, it's really grotesque. They're going so far to restrict people's freedoms.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.